There are thousands of different meditation techniques. But if there's no one walking at the side of you, it's quite difficult. Are you going deep enough to check back in with yourself and your conditioning to see what you should own in your life? And then once you begin to observe your thoughts, you realise, I am not my thoughts, so who am I? That's when the journey really begins. And I needed mentors to allow me to take those journeys.
Before we jump into this episode, I'd love to invite you to join this candid spiritual community to hear more conversations that will help you become happier, healthier, and more healed. All I want you to do is click on that subscribe button because I love your support. I love seeing all the comments pouring through, all the love pouring through, and we're just getting started. I can't wait to go on this journey with you, whether you're a spiritual seeker or you're just curious about the topic. And we really hope that our conversations will provide you food for thought and inspiration for your own spiritual journey. So join us for honest, candid discussions about spirituality for soul's sake.
For soul's sake, for soul's sake.
This is going to be an interesting conversation. It's with the one and only Mel. I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. You are the founder of the Mind, Body, Spirit London Festival and Birmingham Festival. And you've also been doing incredible work with the foundation known as the Ashok Tree Foundation, which is an India school there in Tamil Nadu, I believe, which is incredible. And I mean, now you've gone into a space of real mentorship and looking after people in the well-being space by being a meditation mentor at Living Meditation. I want to know about all these things. But first and foremost, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. It's great. Good to be here.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing you at Mind, Body, Spirit festivals in London and just seeing like, this is the dude. You know, everyone was like, everyone knew Mel was the guy at Mind, Body, Spirit in London. And that was my first perception of you. And now sitting opposite you, I feel like I've got a bit of like butterflies in the stomach.
Stop it.
Yes. Come on, you're a legend of the game.
Too much.
Tell me about it. Tell me about, your journey with Mind, Body, Spirit and what it's been like since, perhaps. What's life looked like since?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, from being a legend.
I mean, you still are a legend. Legends are eternal.
It's funny how people drop away when you remove yourself from a certain space. That's been pretty interesting.
Has it?
Yeah. Happened to me before. I used to be a musician and singer-songwriter, and then I wasn't. And suddenly, again, all those people that were around you because of what you had or what you could do, they're all gone. But that's okay. So you just hang on to and you learn who are the real people in your life that actually care about you, which is lovely. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough at first, but lovely once you sort of ground yourself in it and think, how many friends do you need?
Yeah. Would you have changed anything about the way in which, to be honest, you can't, because when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the thick of something, you can't think of how this is going to one day close. I mean, it's maybe a niggly thought in there, but you can't always be conscious of it, right?
Never that thought.
Yeah.
Never.
Because even for me, I'm just thinking about it in my life and like, okay, right now it feels like I'm sharing something really powerful in the practice, not me as a person, but the practice is powerful and I feel like it's changing lives, changing hearts. But there is a little voice in there. Right now it's like a little whisper. And it's almost like that Marcus Aurelius, I think that's who it was, that had this person that would follow them around, or it was Julius Caesar. One of them had someone follow them around constantly, just whispering in their ear saying, you're just a man. You're just a man. Just a man. So, yeah.
It is interesting. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I would draw you to a story how I got involved with kirtan or mantra. Was with the festival, and somehow I invited a beautiful woman called Shakrini.
Oh, yeah.
You know Shakrini?
I know Shakrini really well. Well, not really well, but we know each other.
That voice, was totally from God, wherever God you happen to believe in. And that was the start of my journey, because I just cried, wept. So let's put it that way: wept and cried, just leaked even, just warm tears with this voice. And then suddenly she couldn't sing anymore. So that's that story, isn't it? How you just change your life. Because the universe is going to throw stuff like that at you, of course it is. And, to be suddenly a singer, then not a singer. I don't know how that feels. Not with a God-given voice anyway.
Yeah. It's coming to the point of realizing who am I when everything that is not me is taken away.
Woo-wee!
It's getting deep. It's getting deep. It's getting deep, people.
Getting deep. But then that's where the mentoring thing that I've been working on for the last 2 years has come from.
Tell me more.
And that's really the fact that you can learn meditation. There are thousands of different meditation techniques. But if there's no one walking at the side of you, it's quite difficult. And you can say, yeah, I'm a meditator, I meditate, and you probably do, and you probably can. Are you going deep enough to check back in with yourself and your conditioning to see what you should own in your life? This conditioning that just sits here as a little like electrical impulses. It's gone. It may have been trauma, it may have been the way you were brought up as a child, it may have been something your father said to you. It's not real, it's not relevant now, but it can dictate your now. And I found lots of people that I've been working with taking what I call an emotional timeline back to that event and then bringing it forward. And that takes so much energy. And I believe that we are just pure energy. That's the only thing. All the experience of the festival and the people that I've worked with and the only real truth I've taken away from it is that everything's energy and we are just energy. That's the only truth I can give you. Can you heal someone with your hands? I don't know, probably, maybe. It's a possibility. Yeah. Can you heal someone with your voice? Maybe. But the only real truth I know is that energy, this microphone, this couch, me, you, thousands of spinning atoms and molecules make us up. And then this brain that holds all this information. And then you get into, is it my brain? Am I my brain? Where do I live? Yeah. And it gets crazy. But the main thing that fascinated me with meditation when I started, getting to a point where you can observe your thoughts. And then once you begin to observe your thoughts, you realize, I am not my thoughts. So who am I? That's when the journey really begins. And I needed mentors to allow me to take those journeys, because I come back with loads of questions and you can't answer most of them yourself. And then I realized I'm a little bit lazy. I'm lazy in my yoga practice. So I have a mentor. It's the only way I can do it. Otherwise I would think of 1,000 excuses not to do it.
Right. Do you feel that as time has gone on, you've had to also step into that mentor role for many people as well? And what's that been like? Because I think it's a necessity. People need mentors, people that, even if you, whatever name you give that, whether it's mentor, whether it's teacher, whether it's guide, whether it's guru, whether people need someone that's further down the path than they are and can help them to take the next step in whatever that way is. What's been the journey of, because I know you're doing it, you are mentoring people. Mm-hmm. What's that journey been like in terms of helping others without, expecting anything in return in one sense?
It's beautiful. And I suppose when it really kicked in for me was when I accepted that I was an elder. Mm. It's not a role that when you're a younger man you want to take on. But then you get to a point where you think, I don't need... We have a real youthful society and a culture that you've got to be youthful, you've got to be this, you can have your face fixed, you can do that, It's just like going, no. Actually, I am an elder and I'm okay with that. Mm. Because with that eldership comes some wisdom, which is a benefit to yourself and everybody else. I'm certainly no master at anything I do. I just have a philosophy that I have a beginner's mind every day. Wake up, I know nothing.
Incredible.
Feel me, what you got?
What you got, life?
What you got? Show me.
Yeah.
And it showed me some bloody awful things, and it showed me some really desperate things. And that's what makes you the person you are. Mm. What you get up in the morning for.
Mm. What's it been like being a grandfather?
Awesome.
Different kind of elder.
Awesome. Awesome.
What have you learned from it?
What have I learned from it?
Because I'm a new father right now. I've got a baby that's 3 and another one that's just turning 1. And it's been just like the most educating experience of my life of what it means to be humble. what it means to be tolerant, what it means to be loving, all these kind of adjectives.
Yeah.
What's it been like being a grandfather?
Being a grandfather, the best part of being a grandfather is obviously the relationship you begin to nurture and have with your grandchildren. The most beautiful part for me has been watching my own children be better parents than I could ever have been.
Wow.
That, it's just like, wow, that goes through you like a lightning bolt. You do your bit, and as a father, but you're still bringing forward the stuff as we were just talking about, the conditioning and the early stuff that went in when you was a child, and it's a different generation. So they're a different generation, and they've got more awareness, and they're just being great parents. So that to me is the vibe. That means you've done what you could to give them that chance.
You've done all right.
Yeah, maybe you did wrong, maybe you screwed up to make them that extra person. I don't know. I like to think we did all right. Made a few mistakes, of course, as you will.
That's part of the humility factor. Recognize I'm not the best at everything, and this is I don't know if it's a controversial question, but a lot of people in the modern day put off having kids till they're much older.
Yep.
People are having children, less of them as well. I'm okay with the one. Do you have any thoughts? Do you think it's, is it sad?
I don't really have any thoughts on that.
Yeah.
The only thoughts I do have are when you see enlightened people in the world choosing not to have children, because they're the ones we need to have children.
To pass it on.
To pass it on. Because, it's birth is two people making love and conception. There are schools of thought that say the child can view that moment of conception and decide if they want to come into the body at that point to those particular parents. Again, this is all stuff we don't know. This is all fluffy stuff around the edges of physical life. But I met my wife, and we were pregnant within first time, and got married after about 3 months.
Wow.
So we just went with the flow.
Bosh.
Went with the flow. So, these are just numbers, aren't they? Just numbers. Maybe they're not having more children, maybe they are, but I'm saying it's difficult. I look at the world and I think, I don't know, bringing kids up in what's it going to be like?
Yeah, scary.
When I was at school, we were writing on
Chalkboard,
blackboard and chalk. These kids are going to be...
For me, it was felt marker and those laminated pieces of paper. You get the...
Oh, so you can wipe it
rub
off.
Yeah. And now it's tablets.
These kids are going to be so connected. It's interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, I think, have a baby. Why not?
Teachers, I feel like it taught me a lot, even though maybe, it was always a thought I knew I wanted kids, but I guess I didn't know I needed kids. And I think there's a difference between those two.
Yeah, no, I wanted kids forever.
Right.
But I wanted about 14 or 15. Whoa. I was going to live in a castle.
These
were all teenage ideas about the things I wanted. It didn't happen that way. No castle, no 14 kids. Had 2 kids, and we did make a conscious thought with 2 to finish to stop. That's fine. Boy or girl.
Yep.
Happy days.
Happy days. You've seen the spiritual circles evolve, and you've seen all sorts come through from all different lineages and all sorts of different traditions and practices. And I guess in one sense it's in an ever evolving situation. There's so many different people coming up with new different modalities. And how does one who is a spiritual seeker navigate that plethora of different practices? Like, how does a genuine seeker just go, where do I start? Like, what's the right place for me to start?
Originally, that was the beauty of the festival.
That's what I was
still
thinking.
is, and still is to a certain extent. That you could come maybe for the weekend, and you would be exposed to every single thought process pattern There is.
Crystals and bowls
Yep.
and
Yep.
energies.
Do you want to go into crystals? Do you want to go into divination cards? Do you want to draw a card to decide your thing? Personally, for me, no.
Yep.
Make the decision, then look for the guidance for me. But these cards are so popular.
They are. They sell like hotcakes.
And crystals are so popular. And yoga's so popular. Everything's popular. And you got to find your own thing in that.
Mm.
And then you start to build a community. And it's those communities that really should hold the authenticity and the integrity of what's going on. And if there's no integrity and there's no authenticity, then you should let it go.
Mm.
Sure, it's hard to leave
You've got friends there
any
and-
community.
yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, one has to realize, like, am I here for the social circumstances, or am I fulfilling the goal for which this practice is meant for? And I mean, for me, when I joined this kind of Krishna Bhakti, the Hare Krishna scene, it was difficult because I didn't feel like I fit in per se, because I didn't really vibe with dressing.
I was going to say, are you a devotee?
Yeah, I'm a devotee. Well,
Born into it?
trying to be a devotee.
Born
No,
into it?
no.
Turn to it.
Turn to it. Yeah.
From where? From
When
what
I was
age?
a teenager, I was what? Something like 16, 17. I was basically looking for answers to life, and I felt like the Hindu tradition had failed me, if I'm honest, because it felt very ritualistic and very mechanical and didn't make sense to me, basically. And so I was looking for answers, and so I did try a few different traditions. I went to a nice Buddhist temple, and I still frequent churches from time to time. But I found that the personal relationship with God became clearer to me practicing Krishna Bhakti. I like that God's a person, for example, and I like that he's got characteristics, and I like that he's a bit quirky, and he plays a flute and he plays with cows, and that's I'm attracted by that. That's really cool. And so I just wanted to know more about this person, and so I went to the monks when I was a teenager, and had some interesting experiences, let's call them. And I was going back and forth. I was like, yeah, I like it, but I do also like drinking and smoking and being out with my friends and doing that. But I was like one foot in this boat, one foot in another, and I could feel at a certain point the tension between the legs. I don't know what I want. What do I want to go this way, or do I want to go that way? And so I made the choice to jump into the spiritual boat, and it's been an adventure ever since. But the one constant is I'm still. It's like I think I said it at the beginning. I feel like there's a whisper in my ear that go towards the personal, go towards the goal, and the goal is to fall in love with God. So I know it's there, but all the external stuff, and it's because I need to engage this ambition that's in my life. I need to engage my youthfulness. I need to engage it. Otherwise, I'm just going to grow old and cold. But I know the whisper is there. And so...
How interesting. Because
Yeah.
I look at... I've obviously got lots of friends within the sort of community.
Yeah.
And I get so jealous of the joy
Yeah.
that you guys have,
It's pretty cool.
I get so jealous. I can join in when I come along and we can sing together.
Yeah.
And I feel it. But I don't have anyone whispering in my ear. I know, for whatever it's worth, that Krishna looks after me. I know that. But I don't have a religion. I don't have a Godhead. I did have when I was being brought up, but that's just an accident of birth, wherever your spirit
Yeah.
happens to incarnate.
Yeah.
And so I put all that to one side, and then I've been drifted along, and then I learned singing and mantra and chant, and then
Cool.
that was it for me. It just gave me that connection.
Beautiful.
So do I have a faith? No, I don't have a faith. I believe there's a power in the universe. Absolutely. It'd be crazy not to. And I just choose to put that faith and make it Krishna.
Yeah.
It's cool. Because it's inclusive, and I've been to the manor so many times, and I've got a mind that's going,
Yeah.
And I meet some guy, and this guy's the cowman. I say, hello, cowman, how are you? What brought you to here? And he said, well, I was studying physics and dynamics, and I
Right.
just thought, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And there he is just looking after the cows. And again, I was kind of like envious of, wow.
Yeah, it's different strokes for different folks. And like, if I was to join the Krishna movement in the 70s, I don't think I would have lasted. It's just too, different to how I feel I want to live my life. And I think that's the beauty of the new generation of Krishna devotees, is that it's not this or this. It's not that you have to dress like this or you're not a devotee. It's this and this. You can believe in God in so many different multivarious ways. And the practice is there, of course, of chanting, and we know the practices of being regulated from certain things in the material world, like not eating meat and not intoxicating and not gambling and not being free to have sex with whatever you want. Those principles and those boundaries are still there, but I think that I live in a world and a generation now where people accept that you don't have to all look and eat the same and sleep the same and talk the same. You can be who you are and still love God. And for me, it's really powerful to see, like what you were speaking, that you still feel the presence of some ultimate, there is a power out there. I can recognize that as well, that it's not, oh, he's got it wrong. He doesn't know the full truth. And that's where I think the generations have shifted, that I think our generation is a little bit more accepting of, that's still beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is
just
as inclusive.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's inclusive. So,
but that's where religions
happy.
go wrong.
Yeah,
when
for
they
sure.
exclude because the faith line doesn't continue or
Correct.
the same, and then
the sectarian spirit.
Yeah. And I just love the Krishna, the Krishna movement. It's great. It's lovely.
Well, on behalf of the Krishna movement, I love you too. When it comes to, you must have come across a lot of like fake gurus or like bogey yogis, I like to call them. What's one way in which someone can like really quickly identify them?
Look for the fruit from the tree. Best way. So if this guy's preaching a certain modality or a certain thing, look to the followers. There's been some weirdos in come across the
everywhere.
Yeah, we had one at the festival, and guy, I can't mention any names obviously, but he was. I
want to know now.
He was preying on women.
Oh damn!
He was preying on women, but he had his own thing going on, his own little thing, and the women involved in his thing protected him when I was saying, you can't come in, I'm not having you in this door anymore, you're not coming in.
And the same women protected him?
Not the same women, he was going after different women, but the women around him were protecting him. It's like, okay. But yeah, all the time, of course. I'd rock up and there'd be people saying, all right, Mel, how you doing? Oh, really good. Oh, I cured cancer the other day.
Say that what?
Oh, cured cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
You get that a lot. And, in my world, sometimes illness is there for a lesson. It's not to be cured. It can be cured now, of course, and it can be operated on. Yeah. But sometimes these illnesses, they just happen.
I agree.
So, there's been a lot of those people.
Yeah, look for the
fruit every time.
Look for the fruit.
If that tree's grounded and it's healthy, the fruit will be just the same.
Yeah. When it comes to having a loving relationship with that higher power, we were kind of talking about it. Do you have a practice that you mentioned chanting, but what's the daily spiritual day look like for you, or a spiritual
daily thing? I wake up, of course.
Yep.
Flick back to Jay Shetty.
Oh yeah.
And I go, okay, gratitude, thanks Jay. Gratitude. And then I think about my day, how that's going to look. Begin that day, herbal tea, sit up.
What's your favourite herbal tea?
Oh, they all taste like muck anyway. There's not one. There's still not one.
What are your go-to 5, 3 to 5? Which ones would you recommend?
What herbal teas?
Yeah.
Ginger.
Okay.
It would always be some
they're
ginger.
They're good for you. I just never like the taste of ginger tea.
Really?
Yeah. It's vocalists. Everyone talks about ginger tea being really good for your vocals, but I don't really like the taste of them.
Okay. No, it would be ginger teas, or I'd make a chai. I'm a big chai maker. Big chai maker.
We need to go out for chai.
Why does it never come out the same?
Yeah, I know.
You know, every
There's no chai machine as far as I know. That could be an invention.
there are loads of. During lockdown, I made a chai. I was
Whoa.
going to make a little chai business, but I think everyone had a business idea during lockdown, and I was knocking out chai. But I learnt that it's never going to be the same.
Really?
One element is going to be different every single time. The milk or the cardamom pods, where they've come from, it's never going to be the same.
I want to come and try a chai that you made.
No, yeah, no problem. But
Okay.
it'll be a little bit gingery.
That's all right. I just won't wince when I drink it.
So what the rest of the day, I would try and find the time to sit in the morning, do all my contacts. I'm happy to siesta now. I'm pretty good at siestaing. So I used to take 40 minutes most days just to
Tune in.
turn off.
Yeah.
No, turn off. No, just turn off of that 40 minutes a day. Usually go for a walk in the morning. Then spend an hour, 2 hours writing, because I didn't know how hard writing. Have you written anything? Yeah, it's so hard.
Currently writing right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pain. I know it'll be worth it in the long run, but right now it's just it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
Right.
And it's also reserving the right to be wrong.
Right.
It's
Wow.
you reserve that right to be wrong, because
Right.
you can carry on down a road, but if it's wrong, it's wrong. So you have to, and I keep constantly rewinding.
Wow.
Actually, no, that isn't, because I've just experienced that it isn't, and then you rewrite. So I'm probably about 35,000 words in. Publishing, there's 2 doors that I can go through to make it happen.
I'm excited for that. What's it going to be about? Are you allowed to tell us?
It's living meditation.
Ah.
Because the concept of living meditation is that it's not, for me, enough just to sit, as I was saying earlier, for half an hour a day. And that's not what I did to get to my place now, where I feel I have something of worth that I can share. It is a meditation practice, but I'm not saying beat yourself up over it, because it's not easy. It's the way you address yourself in your life. It's being of service. It's checking in. It's moving your body. So it's a mixture of meditation, body movement, breathing, conscious awareness, and making yourself become a fully conscious being, so that in life you are able to respond rather than react. Because the one thing I noticed, when life goes whack in the face, which it will do, and it will do all the time, if we react, it's usually wrong. But if you respond... So I'm kind of... flowery and romantic notion is you're rewiring your head within this practice to reroute through the heart. So the heart will be the first place, then the brain.
Wow.
Is the idea.
Yeah. When it comes to the heart and the brain, something you just sparked a thought. It's relevant. I heard Radhanath Swami, he was once asked, how do you deal with all these people and projects and stuff? And he said this incredible quote. He said, with places and projects, I go with my head, and with people, I go with my heart. And it's just a rewiring. I think for a lot of us, we think that, it's all or nothing, head or heart. And I think that what's interesting is being able to use God-given talent of being able to recognize what's required in this moment. But I like that, that everything still has this heart spirit.
Has to.
Starts there.
Has to, for me.
Even with places and projects.
Yeah. Oh, obviously there's a logical aspect to the mind, which is probably what I was talking about.
Yeah.
There's a logical, intellectual aspect to some of those thoughts and other thoughts. Yeah, I think he's probably right. Because, I make it in a sort of simpler term that we've all been out doing stuff, driving around, and someone cuts you up in the car.
Common.
And reaction, you don't know that guy's life. You don't know the life that he's living. And I've seen people, and with their experience, where 0 to absolutely furious. Now that to me is a foreign state. It'd take me a week to get really angry. But that that's happened to that person because of the wiring of their brain, and that's a well-worn path from 0 to angry. So the thought just goes bang, and the electrical charge comes, and the reaction comes. And that's so dangerous to be walking around like that. It really is. And that's why I'm talking about rewiring through the heart.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to reading that.
It's all changeable. The whole of that neural network is all changeable.
Takes a lot of practice, though.
And understanding first. I've just done a whole section on the brain. It's like, oh God! But I felt it was necessary. I felt it was necessary. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying, because my brain's all over the place. I'm going, amygdala. Okay, the amygdala does this. And it's like, what? But I think it's really important that those things happen.
I see you as a visionary. I see you as someone that really sees the.
So do I. So do I.
I feel like you're an oracle, you know, like you see things for the future. And so I want to ask you, because I'm just curious for my own personal self. Kirtan and mantra.
Yep.
It seems like there's a handing over of batons between generations. What do you see as the future in terms of look, feel? What would you recommend? What do you think would really impact people for the future? See, it's a self-motivated question. I'm interested.
I get it. And you know what? Interestingly enough, a lot of devotees have asked me that question.
Is it? Interesting.
And they want to obviously push that. So we work with Janavi to put on a gig in London with her, and working with Sandipan. Sandipan, I've got to fix it.
He's the man.
Got to fix it. You know, it really needs gentle kid gloves. Look what happened when with George Harrison, when he sort of, My Sweet Lord. People didn't instantly associate that with Krishna, apart from the chorus line. It's all about how do you generate that feeling, because it's not mantra, kirtan, it's not the modern world. It's not a video. It's not a bite. It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. So
it has to humbly take itself into the world, utilising the medium of social media, and dragging a few sort of celebrities and influencers along with it. But there's kind of it needs to come to a place of peace within that message. Now, both you and I, we've experienced how that feels. It's amazing. It's too much. And interesting enough, at the festival, we were 65% female, sorry.
Okay. You mean attendees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was desperate. I wanted to know why we weren't getting males and how we could get those males. So I changed the marketing a little bit. I don't know how I did it, but it happened, and we started to attract more men. And these were men, they were physical men. They were, the muscle and the. And I remember I'd take them. They'd say, Mel, what's this on stage? I said, it's called kirtan. And I'd take them up and I'd sit them down, and they would have the same experience as I was.
Wow.
They would just go, Mel, what's going on? So it's how that feeling gets transposed into the modern world. And taking it forward, it's not going to be for everyone. So it's the movement saying, okay, let's do what we can do in the way that we do it, and make it beautiful and keep it beautiful. Don't lose its authenticity. Don't lose its honesty, and it's all doable.
Yeah.
I've been to Kirtan practice and looked around. We had who was it? We had KD over for a while. Sorry, Krishna Das, and there was all this. Oh, there's a secret celebrity. We can't say anything. Blah blah blah. And it was Will Smith. But he wasn't allowed to come out. His security wouldn't let him come out in the background. We had to pull a curtain across and hide him.
What a mission.
And so he didn't enjoy it. Of course he didn't enjoy it. He was removed from that centre vibe. Yeah, he loved it, but he just said,
it was all right.
Now it's not happening. So they went. So in that situation, it would have been security saying, you know what I mean? Let a guy sit in there. Well, these people are no threat. They're just here to bliss out. Stuck him in the middle of that crowd. He would have had the best time. People would have said, Will Smith was there. Will Smith was there. and suddenly, all right, Will's done a bit of slapping in the meantime. You know, he's lost his cool. He reacted rather than the response thing.
Yeah.
But that's how it needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all doable.
Totally.
Mm.
But it's just a matter of, let's chill with this, guys.
That's true.
It's doing its job. It's setting a vibe out into the world.
Yeah, I think that spirituality has to be done patiently. You know, sharing of spirituality, yeah, fine, you might get an initial burst on social media or something like that. But the longevity requires patience. It's like that bamboo example, you know, have you had this? That, you know, when you plant bamboo, for the first 6 to 8 years, you won't see a damn thing. And all of a sudden, it just goes, whoop, just pops out the ground and off it goes. And the space of 6 months, it's grown like meters and meters high. And I think that's the same thing with sharing spirituality publicly, but also an internal cultivation of spirituality and recognizing it's going to take time. I think too many people want the quick fix.
Yeah.
That I want it now, it has to happen in the next 2 minutes, otherwise it's not a genuine practice. But a lot of the time it's the hard work of going through the ego, going through all the impressions and the samskaras and all these things that are in the mind that are whizzing around, and trying to learn how to just go, shh, okay, it's okay, it's all right, you're there, I know you're there, just calm down, we'll address you, you know?
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, if you're a musician, let the music be the food of love. You know,
I love that.
The money, I know quite a few musicians that won't do anything if it's not for money. But if you're a musician, be a musician.
Yeah.
Let the music flow, because it's a gift. It's coming, as you know, this is pieces of gold being dropped all over you when you're singing. And thank you very much. But wow, it's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. You're normally in India at this time. What happened?
Grandkids.
Oh. What?
Just grandkids, just being around.
Responsibility.
My daughter's husband is a surgeon.
Okay.
So he's often doing sort of 24-hour
Saving lives.
24-hour stints, which for a young mum with a 6-month-old being on her own, it's tough.
It's intense, yeah.
We're local, so we can zoom over and support as much as we can. Interestingly enough, being a grandparent, the biggest lesson I think we've learned so far is your opinion isn't really requested. Your support.
Your support
is what, because
Mum,
they've got it.
Are you listening, Mum?
Our kids have got it. They've got that. What they need from us is the support. They don't want to know about, how it was for us, and because my generation, there was like one book. I think, can't even remember who it was that told you about parenting.
Yeah.
Now it's flooded with, I'm sure apps and white noise and
all sorts. Yeah, even when it comes to feeding the kids and like what to feed them and when to feed them, and everything's done by the minute.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's like putting a bun in the oven and really monitoring it every second.
You got monitors on your babies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Visual and?
Visual and. Well, we use them very, very rarely because I'm not a big fan of infrared and Bluetooth and stuff like that. So even at night time, for example, I put my phone in a different room and just, don't want to be anywhere near it. I was wearing an Apple Watch for a long period of time.
Oh man, that's too connected, isn't it? Jesus.
And I just realised, like, it just feels like I can't switch off at all. Even in the toilet, it's just buzzing.
Yeah.
It's like, bloody hell, man. Let me do that.
Yeah, I
in
won't
peace.
go near digital watches at all.
Yeah. I was all for it before. I was like, use everything in service, use everything in, promoting spiritual consciousness. And then I just got to a point where I was like, first I've got to start here. And that means I need to learn how to turn off from that world.
Yeah, there's a touch of ego involved when you get involved with the Apple Watch.
Yeah, it's like everyone wants me.
Oh yeah. And then it's like, oh really? Get off my wrist. I don't need to know.
Yeah. Someone's trying to get me to get what's it called, an aura ring. Have you heard about those? So just like, it's a ring that you put on your finger and it's constantly measuring your health and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, it's cool, but how does it transmit the data? Bluetooth. Whoop. Like, I'm all right for now.
Yeah, no, I think that they'll be the next real big leaps in human
health and technology.
Health and technology mixing.
Yeah.
You can see it already.
Yeah. I mean, all these now it's moving away from phones towards lenses, eyewear. So it's all going to be coming up on the screen here.
Doesn't make any difference. The brain still can't hack it.
Yeah,
that's why we invented computers and machines. But they're still, but we're still expected to.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah, I definitely feel old. I don't know. I'm not that old, but
No, you're still a young man.
Yeah, I'm still a young man, but compared to some of these kids and the way that they're flying through things. Anyway, this has been a really interesting conversation. Do you want to do some quick fire round?
Yeah.
You want to do some quick fire?
Fire away. Red,
Oh.
blue,
Some people hate quick fire; they get really nervous.
green. As long as you know I'm not going to be serious, it's all good.
I love it. Okay, question number 1.
Yeah.
What's something that you're curious about right now in your life?
In my life, how long I'm going to be on the planet. Not a nagging curiosity, but if you want a quick fire, that's what came out.
Wow. Appreciate
I don't
it.
want to live forever, man.
Really?
No, when things start going wrong or falling off. No. You see it so often. We put animals to sleep gently and beautifully, but...
Wow. Question number 2. What's something that you're personally working through at the moment?
Ooh.
Mm.
There's a mistake I keep making, which is, in certain situations, and only a few, still justifying myself when I'm wrong, instead of saying, sorry, hands up. Just a thing. It's just a trigger. And yeah, I'm still working on them. It doesn't happen as much, maybe twice a year. But when it happens, it drags with it 30 years of screwing up, if you understand that.
I do, yeah.
So it's just that's what I'm working on.
Wow.
And with the help of my wife, who you met the other day, as a psychotherapist, she must be pulling her hair out at times. Because when that mistake happens, it's usually part of our relationship. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, I mean, just you speaking about it, it's helping me to recognize how much I do that myself. So thanks for that.
We all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah. The human
Sorry's
experience.
so much easier.
Yeah.
And it is just like pouring balm, soothing balm over a situation. Whereas when you start to go, well, maybe I didn't do that. Or did I do that? Did I? Blah, blah.
Yeah, there's that quote, right? That resisting apologizing is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to pass out. Don't resist apologizing.
You're good with these little things, aren't you?
I'm hearing them all the time, that's why.
I can't remember them. I hear them, and I think my boy gave me one the other day, and I thought, whoa, I'm going to bring that up when I speak to Radhika. But didn't happen. Can't remember it.
Yeah, I'm trying to use it. I've been told if I don't use it, I lose it.
For sure.
So I'm trying to use whatever.
Lion's mane mushrooms.
There you go.
You can eat mushrooms?
I do.
Yeah, lion's mane.
Yeah. Good for memory.
Sharp.
Is it?
Something else.
Don't they make like teas out of lion's mane?
Yeah, but you're better off with
the real
the
deal.
fruit in.
Okay. Oh, fruit and lion's mane.
No, the fruit, the proper fruit.
Oh, the proper fruit.
Yeah, not stuff with bulked up with
Powders.
other powders and things, but the actual mushroom and then dehydrated.
I'll tell my wife about that. Lion's mane.
Yep. I'll send you some if you want.
Please,
I'll
yeah.
make it.
With some chai. We've got to go out for some chai. You got to tell me where's the best chai place in
Mushroom
London?
and chai. Huh?
Where's the best chai place in London?
For me,
Yeah.
Chai Walla at the moment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go. It's on me. Kaylee, you want to come? All right, he's down. Chai Walla date. Something you used to deeply value but don't value as much anymore.
What other people think of me. Used to be a real big deal, and it would crush me if I thought someone didn't now, but...
Yeah, there's someone that said something like, the first 20 years you really care about what people think. The second 20 years you don't care what people think. And then the third 20 years you realise people weren't thinking about you anyway.
I love it.
Just coming to that realization, like, oh, why am I living for other people?
But yeah, no, obviously, you come into people's lives and you go out of people's
No,
lives.
that's okay. It's the hardest thing for me on retreats because I take all these people on retreats. We took 55 to Vrindavan, another 40 to the Govardhan Eco Village near Mumbai. And on the last day, I used to get really attached to people. So I used to cry on the gratitude circles on the last day. And it's not that I've become, in one sense, I've become less sensitive about it, but it's just coming to the realization of they're not mine and I'm not theirs, but I'm helping them and they've helped me too. And it's just the course of life that we're going to have to say goodbye for now.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll connect further down the road.
That's fine.
And that's fine.
But let's face it, we all want to be loved.
Yeah.
But it's not involving yourself in a desperate, I'm loved, I want to be loved at any cost. I want to be loved for me, and that's fine. And if you don't, then there's 4 other people on the planet that do. So that's enough for me right now.
It's incredible. Here's a question that's not on here, but I do ask from time to time. What legacy would you like to leave behind in the world? What would you like to be remembered for?
Interesting. I would like to be known as someone that cared enough to try and make a difference in whatever small way that I can. This legacy thing, it's a big deal right now. People are talking about it. I want to leave a legacy. There's all these houses and all this, that. But
I mean, just from the little I do know of you, and not that I'm trying to butt you up for anything, but I feel like you're doing, well, you've done it and you're doing it. So
it feels like that.
Yeah.
It feels like that to me. It feels doing an extraordinary life in a small way. Or an extraordinary, small life, whatever. I'm not as good as saying it as you, man, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just trying to live an extraordinary life, but under the radar.
I appreciate that.
That's it. So I've got a question for you.
All right, here we go.
You're the first Radhika male that I've met. What happened there? I mean, I don't know.
Well, my name previous to spiritual initiation was Ravi. And then sometimes as spiritual teachers, they'll choose a name based on your first few letters. And the story goes that I went to Vrindavan for the first time when I was a teenager, completely on my own. And I went up to this temple in Varshana called Ladli Lal Temple. Have you been to Varshana? Radharani's palace.
The one that's hard to get to with a big walk?
It's a big walk up the top. So I went up there by myself and bumped into this wonderful person. Her name's Banu Nandini. And she had brought a group from Australia to this temple. And at that time, I wasn't really a singer. I liked singing, but I wasn't known for being a singer. But she saw me there and she said, "Hey, would you like to sing this set of verses?" And I said, "I've never chanted this in my life. Like, I'm not going to know what the meter is, how to sing this melodically or anything like that." She said, "Just give it a go." So that's what I did. I gave it a go. And by the end of it, the kirtan was really like, I don't know, just I remember an outpouring of love. And then the locals were dancing really beautifully. And it was just, then the drum player came out of nowhere and started playing. And it was just very like serendipitous. Like, it felt like I was meant to be there at that moment, at that particular period of time. And I felt like that service that I did there was accepted by Sri Radha, the feminine divine. Anyway, a few months go by, maybe even a year, I can't remember. But it comes to the time where I'm getting spiritual initiation and I'm making these vows to my guru. I'm making a commitment to my spiritual practice. And at that time, he gave me this name, Radhika Ranjan Das. So I appreciate that people can't pronounce Radhika Ranjan, so I just kept it Radhika Das. But Radhika Ranjan means one who is simply pleasing to Radharani. One who is the servant. Das means one who serves.
Mm-hmm.
That person who's simply pleasing to Radharani. And so, I guess that there was some element. He told me afterwards that it's because he heard about what happened in that temple. And I did some small service that maybe was simply pleasing. Simple, small service that was pleasing. And so that's why I got that name, Radhika Ranjan Das.
Okay. And is it a female name? It is, isn't it?
So Radhika Ranjan, one who pleases Radharani, is Krishna. So it's actually a name of Krishna.
Okay.
But when I say Radhika Das, even that, the one who serves Radharani is Krishna. So
I'm just thinking how old-fashioned that makes me sound.
Yeah.
A female name.
Yeah.
It's just a name.
No, it's
It's just a name.
It is. I'm the first male Radhika that I know. And when I first got it, I was like, damn, I got a girl's name. What the hell am I going to do now? I mean, at that time, I didn't have any intention of using it in a public sphere. It was kind of like, okay, well, I'll just use it as a private, in the house, people will know me as that. But when it came to, okay, well, now I've got a bit of a presence and a stage presence, I've got to use a name. So I want to use that spiritual name in some way. And so that's why I'm using it, stuck with it, and owned it. And I have a soft spot for the feminine divine, so to say.
Well, don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all? Yeah.
And
No,
so I'm
there's a beauty there. There is.
no one's
real
ever asked me that
beauty.
on a podcast. So there you go. Now you have it. Who's going to listen? I don't know.
Anyone listening?
Anyone there? Drop us a comment. No, thanks for asking. This has been an incredible podcast. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
You're a man of the
really
heart. You're
enjoyed
someone
that.
that wears your heart on your sleeve. And I feel like I've known you for years.
Yeah. No. Well, before we'd even met.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
There's a connection.
I'd seen some of the work that you've been putting up, and the boys have been telling me about you.
The boys. Yeah. No, I'm trying my best. I'm not by any means perfect. And I'm happily.
You're amazing. I've having sat with you when we sat with at Neil's.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice.
That event was nice.
As special was the dialogue in between the chanting.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Because that took it up another level for me.
Oh, really?
And that's the same with KD as well. He doesn't do it as much, but he used to share more. In the middle of what he was doing.
I'm doing it for myself because I'm not really someone that can just drop in and then create space just through the sound of chanting. I need a bit of framework, and I'm like, if I need that, maybe I'm not the only one. So I'm just doing it.
Yeah, no,
honestly.
you weren't the only one. So well done, mate. Because it fired me up to hear what you were saying, and maybe that's because of the more Western, non-Hindu. I don't know, but I know that in that room there was the monks over on one side, there was a Neil sitting in the middle of the floor, and there was a whole mishmash of people.
Yeah. Influences and all that. People that were doing incredible things in the world, charities and stuff. It was a really, really mishmash room, and I thought, well, the only way to do this is by addressing that we're all different and addressing that let's just have a collective experience here together.
Yeah, and wasn't having a Neil lovely.
Yeah, Anil Agarwal, he's a mutual benefactor. So yeah, thank you so much for
To open his house like that.
Yeah. It's incredible. To have wealth is one thing, but then to distribute it with love is another.
Yeah. No, that was something else. We went to a rose ceremony at his place as well once. Were you
I was
there
meant
for
to go
that?
to that. I ended up doing a random gig in a yoga studio somewhere else and kicking myself afterwards.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. I've never seen so many
Flower festival.
rose petals being fired out of an air.
Well, we do it from time to
cannon.
time at Omnom. You should come.
Yeah? That many rose petals?
I mean, it gets wild. Check it out on YouTube. Just type in Radhika Das Flower Festival and you'll see. I mean, it gets wild.
Yeah?
Yeah. But beautifully wild.
Good. Well, I have to plan my trips to London now that we're moving, when we're out in the countryside.
Whenever you're in around, you're always welcome, always invited.
Groovy.
Thank you. Thank you for doing
Thank
this.
you. Thank you
for
very
all
much.
listening. I really hope that you felt this was interesting, personal. I feel like this was a genuinely honest conversation, and I think that's testament to Mel. So thank you so much,
Well,
Mel.
I hope so. I do hope so. I hope I was, it's funny, my kids dissected it a little bit for me. Said, maybe Dad, you should give some, push yourself and push this and push that. And it doesn't feel natural to sort of promote because you are what you are. And
Yeah.
I think that vibe's like singing. That vibe, I'll either permeate or it won't.
It'll either permeate or it won't, yeah. No, you've got it. You've got the it factor.
Ding dong. Thank
Ding
you.
dong. Thank you all so much for listening. See you on the next episode for Soul's Sake. Give it a like, give it a share, drop it a comment, send it to a friend, and I'll see you on the next episode. Lots of love. Peace out. Namaste.
Bye.
If you love this episode, you'll love my interview with Mimi Icon on mindfulness to manifestation. Check it out.
So I had this panic attack and I thought I was dying. So I go to my teacher and I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. Like, I'm so scared. And he's like, well, if you do, we'll call 911. This is back in Toronto. I was living in Toronto at the time. He's like, Mimi, you cannot run away from yourself. it's a panic attack most likely. Like now go back into meditation and sit through it and watch it. Any emotional reaction is like a storm. Like it has a beginning, a middle, and an end.